Hey guys, how's it going? So today I want to talk to you a little bit about onion seeds. How to know which ones to buy, and then we're going to actually get these started because these want to be started between 8 and 10 weeks, and I'm right at like the 9-week mark right now, so it is time to get these going. When you're thinking about growing onions, you're going to be met with two different things. You're going to be met with seeds and sets. Sets are like little bulbs, just like they look like little baby onions. And then the other option is growing them from seeds. So seeds, oftentimes you can find more varieties. Sets are oftentimes sold at, like, I know Lowe's and Home Depot and places like that carry sets. And I really don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. I think it depends, regionally, what your climate is, and also on choice. Because I've heard people say starting from sets is better than starting from seeds. And I've heard people say starting from seeds is better than sets. So if you want to do a little bit more deep dive research on sets versus seeds, that's not exactly what we're going to be talking about today, but just know that those two options are available to you. So I have 3 varieties of seeds here, and 2 of these are long day onions, and 1 of these is a short day onion. So the difference between long day and short day is completely regional. So if you see on the back of this seed packet from M.I. Gardener, there is actually a map of the United States. And depending on what seeds you buy, it'll either have the top half colored green or the bottom half colored green. And depending on what area of the United States you live in, that will dictate what kind of onions you can grow. So I'm not sure how these are actually going to do because these are short day onions and I live in the north, which has long days. These 2 are much more suited to my region, and I can pretty much guarantee that these are going to grow pretty well for me. Whereas these are more of an experiment. I just really like the color of them. They're little bunching onions. I'm going to try and grow them now. In the spring, I actually have some started inside to see if I can't get some production out of them in the springtime or inside where the days are shorter because it is winter. The terms short day and long day literally mean just that. In the north, we have longer summer days, more hours in the day of daylight. And long day onions need that long daylight hour to actually produce the bulbs. They bulb up depending on the hours of sunlight they get. Whereas short day onions, if they are grown in a long day climate, they might bulb up before they're ready, and it can stress the plant out. You're not going to get what you would if you grew the proper onion variety for the region that you live in. So that's the differences here. I have Redbeard bunching onions, which we've started in another video. Like I said, these are short day onions, better suited for the south. So I am not really sure what I'm going to get out of these, but I thought it was worth a try. And then I have Ruby Red Onion, which is a long day variety, and White Sweet Spanish Onion. All 3 of them are from M.I. Gardener. So I am going to plant these today, and I'm going to do it in a very dense seed starting method. It's really the best way to maximize your space under grow lights. Onions have very wiry roots, which means when you plant them close together, more in a microgreen style, when you go to plant them out in the landscape, you can just kind of tease them apart very gently. Because the roots are more wiry, they don't get all tangled together, and so when you pull them apart, you're not going to damage them like you would other root systems. So you can get away with sowing a ton in a container or in a seed tray and, get hundreds or thousands of seeds, where if you followed the spacing recommendations that you do for planting other seeds, you would only be able to plant maybe 24 to 50 in a seed tray. So it is a much more space efficient way of doing things, and that's how I'm going to do it today. So what I have here is a 4x9 seed tray. These are smaller cells than the ones that I have used for peppers and herbs and other things that I've grown, but these I can still get, even though they're smaller, I can still get a ton of onion plants started in one of these. And you don't even need the cell packs to do this. You could just do it in like the actual tray itself or in any random like shallow containers that you have. because these can just be easily teased apart, they don't need to be individually spaced. However, I am going to grow my onions in cells because I do want to sell some of these, and that just makes it easier for people to buy. So I'm going to get this filled with pre-moistened soil, and then we'll get to planting these, and I'll show you truly how densely you can sow them. So now that I've got the soil in the tray, I also made some tags here that I'm just going to stick in the front of each row. My dog is freaking out because there's a cat outside and a bunch of birds, so if you hear that, she's the culprit. So I'm just gonna I'll start with the red beard bunching onions here, but I'm gonna wait to put the tag in so I can just kind of scoop the whole area out because these want to be planted 1/4 of an inch deep. So what I'm gonna do is just scoop about 1/4 of an inch out like so. Sprinkle all the seeds all over the place, and then put this soil back on top, tamp them down. And I'm gonna do that to all of this row here before I start. I'm just gonna take a pinch of them and just seed them all over the place. And so that one little cell, I put 2 like decent size pinches in. And I'm gonna do that for all these 4. And so I only have enough for maybe one more cell, but since I don't even know how well these are going to do, since these are a short day onion, and we grow long day onions here, I don't want to dedicate just one more cell to them and mess up a whole nother row. So I'm just going to disperse the rest of these seeds throughout these 4. And I'm just going to take this soil that I took off, put it right back on and tamp it down. And now I'm gonna do the same thing with these 2 varieties, and I'm just gonna do them for as many cells as they'll fill up, and we'll see what we're left with, and then maybe do some tomatoes or something in the rest of the cells, just so we don't have a partially full flat. Nestle, what are you doing? Come here, Nestle. Nestle, what are you eating? I don't even know where my dog got this from. That's crazy. And so for the ruby red onion, I ended up sowing 6 cells of those. So that kind of gives you an idea of how densely I am planting them, because this packet says it came with approximately 250 seeds. So 250 seeds did 6, these 4, and then these 2 cells. So you can plant them super densely, and you know, there's no thinning involved with onions. You just let them grow on until you're ready to plant them out, and then you gently tease them apart. And so you can really get a ton of onions in a small amount of space. So these are actually the things that I do need to start this week or next week. So I'm probably just going to do a few of each of these just to fill out the rest of this tray so I don't leave any empty space. So I've got 2 varieties of pepper here. We've got Pasilla Bajo, I don't know, Bajo, don't know how to say that. I've got a black pearl ornamental pepper, which I'm just growing this for the ornamental property of it because we do not like spicy in this household, and these are 6 times as hot as jalapeno. This is just gonna be a focal plant in my landscape. And we've got some Cascade of Color trailing lobelia. I hope these do really well. These would look so pretty in a pot. So as far as seed depth, it says press lightly into the surface, and it says thinning is not required. So I'm just going to sprinkle some seeds on the top of here, press it in lightly into the soil, and that's all I'm gonna do for them. You know they're tiny when they come in a packet inside of a packet. Oh my goodness. That's like sand. That is insane. Do you see that? That's nuts. So I just kind of did what I did for the onions over here, and I just sprinkled them all around the top, and I'm just gonna press them in. So I did 3 rows. That's way more than I was expecting, and I still have a ton left, but that's all I'm gonna dedicate space right now to. So these 3 rows all the way back are the trailing lobelia. That's gonna go right there. So for now, I think I'm just going to plant these 2 varieties, one row of each of them, and I will wait to plant these because these want to be planted 8 to 10 weeks, and these all want to be planted 6 to 10 weeks, so I still have plenty of time to get these planted. But I'm kind of on the shorter end of the window for these guys. Which honestly, I should probably be wearing gloves because I know this is a really hot pepper, but oh well. My goodness, they are sticking in here. So I'm gonna be planting these at a 1/4 inch as well. So I'm just gonna take my finger and push a 1/4 inch hole down each one. I'm just gonna place 1 seed in each tray. If you wanted to guarantee germination, you would want to plant at least 2 to 3 seeds in each tray and then thin later. But because I do not have many of these seeds, I want to make sure that I don't waste any. Now I just need to cover these guys up. I'm just gonna do the same thing for these peppers, all in these 4. Spring is just around the corner. It is go time with seed starting, or it's about to be go time for seed starting for a lot of you. This is a really exciting time of the year. Yesterday it was 40 degrees. I spent all day outside. It was lovely, and then we woke up today to more snow. So it's the time of the year when it can go from 60 degrees down to 25 degrees in the course of 24 hours. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.